We can now speak to the SACP's Alex Mashilo to get their reaction to the news that the IMF is granting South Africa the 70 billion rand loan. Alex, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time on eNCA. So in April, I seem to recall one of your leaders, Salima Paila, on the radio voicing your outright rejection of any suggestion that South Africa get money from the IMF. It's now happened. How disappointed are you in your ANC comrades who lead government at this moment?
We did have meetings of the Alliance Political Council in April, May and June, where we presented our position as the SACP about the IMF and the World Bank. Particularly, we said we must learn lessons about what happened on the African continent after Ghana gained independence. There is just no single country on the continent that you can say this country was moved out of poverty, inequality, and unemployment as a result of IMF policies and developed. So we said that as the SACP, we do not want any IMF economic program in South Africa, because the many dictatorships that developed on the continent cannot be understood wholly without appreciating their link with IMF loans, particularly when those loans were given in situations of balance of payments crisis. Those loans came with economic policies. From that moment onwards, the governments and the people of the respective African countries, as well as Latin America, lost their democratic national sovereignty. So we said that South Africa has to not accept or approach any funds that will come with economic programs attached, because we are strongly opposed to that as the SACP. Finally, the Alliance produced a framework document on COVID-19, and that framework document made it very clear that as the Alliance, we reject any funds that come with economic programs, because we want our democratic self-determination to remain intact. We want to decide our policies. We do not want a foreign institution to give us policies, because from the moment we accept that, then our democracy is finished.
Just on that point then, the Director General at Treasury, Dondo Mokgajane, today during the rounds, media interview-wise, was saying that, look, let's assure South Africans that no harm will come to this country because of this IMF COVID-19 loan. He says they've negotiated a good deal, essentially. Are you prepared to take Treasury on their word and let your rejection of this IMF funding go?
There is one thing we pointed out in April about IMF loans: the secrecy and confidentiality. Under conditions where democratic governance is underpinned by transparency, when you tell people that we have negotiated a good deal, you must open it for all of us to prove. I'm not sure whether he opened it for you as the media or for any South African to reach their own conclusions, or you are just taking his word for it. However, we know the facility because in May, we published a red alert on Umsebenzi Online, presenting a review of IMF rapid finance facilities. Based on information from the IMF under that facility, there are interest rates involved. Those interest rates are said to be low. We don't know how low they are compared to the interest rates available when domestic funds were the ones used here. But secondly, it is important to appreciate that South Africa has to be very careful about accumulating foreign debt, because many countries that found themselves under IMF programs, which engendered dictatorship, started by saying that these loans are cheap, we have negotiated good deals. Later on, their national currencies depreciated and made the debt unsustainable. We warned about that as the SACP. Now, the reason why the Treasurer General of the National Treasury makes that statement, we believe could be linked with the discussions that we had in the alliance, where we warned that we fought for this democracy, not to hand over the democracy that we fought for to a foreign institution. We fought for this democracy so that we maintain our independence, our national self-determination, and we decide our policy directions. And any funds that come with policy, we do not accept them.
Based on that then, Alex, and forgive me for interrupting you again, based on that, do you believe Treasury when it says no harm will come to South Africa as a result of this IMF loan?
In Marxism-Leninism, which is the philosophy that we follow, we do not have a problem in believing, but believing is based on proof. So trust is based on proof. So science is very important. We have been saying there is confidentiality in IMF loans, and people were saying, no, we are wrong. If they want to prove that we are wrong, let all the terms be open for everyone to see under the principles of transparency that underpin democracy. We would like to believe him when he said so. However, we will be more comfortable in having the proof ourselves.
Alex Mashilo from the South African Communist Party, thank you for your time this afternoon, sir.